Hi, guys. Great to see you. Happy whatever day it is. Today's Sunday. I think today's Sunday. I'm going just a tad bit early, and the reason why I'm going early is we just had a fire pop up literally within the last 30 minutes. Let me share my screen real quick. This picture was sent in to me by Andrea Sarah Gregory. Thank you for sending that in. It looks like this is just east of Peterson Space Force Base in El Paso County. Um, it looks like the crossroads, according to the Colorado Springs Fire Department Public Information Officer, this is going to be near Mark Scheffel and Drennan Road, and they're actually shutting down Mark Scheffel as we speak. The Colorado Springs Fire Department is requesting additional resources from Ellicott and from Cheyenne Mountain, and they're also including water tenders and brush trucks to battle this fire. So for those of you in El Paso County and the surrounding regions, if you see smoke, this is the fire that just popped up literally to the east of Peterson Air Force Base. Sorry, I realize that mic's probably a little bit too loud. So that's why I went live a little bit early for those of you that are just hopping on late. We've got a fire in El Paso County that just popped up literally to the east of Peterson Space Force Base. It looks like the crossroads, according to the Colorado Springs Fire Department Public Information Officer, is Mark Scheffel and Drennan Road, and they're actually shutting down Mark Scheffel as we speak. And I will keep you guys updated on this fire, but this is just to the east of Peterson Space Force Base. And if I'm too loud, turn your sound down. Sorry, I've got a loud personality. I can't use my inside voice. I've only got one volume. Let me do this real quick. Okay. So that fire is just burning to the east of Peterson Space Force Base. I'll keep you guys updated on that. Hello. It is 4:59, right on the dot, almost 5 o'clock. I hope you guys have your alcohol because Lord knows with a fire now I'm going to need it. Give me just a second. Malbec is absolutely delicious. And yes, my stocking is back up if you guys noticed. Type in the comments, let me know where you guys are from and what you're drinking. It does not have to be alcoholic, by the way. It can be water, it can be Sprite, it can be sparkling cider. I don't care. But feel free to share what you're drinking. But thank you guys so much for hopping on. It is 5 o'clock somewhere, and it happens to be 5 o'clock here. I hope you guys are having a great evening. I will update here throughout the evening on the fire that's burning east of the Air Force Academy. In the meantime, before we get started, you guys know that I am purely volunteer based and I operate full time based on the amazing generosity of local businesses and, of course, your guys' donations. So if you guys would bear with me for just a minute, I need to pay the bills. Okay. That's my beautiful website, codytheweatherguy.com, where you guys can get my information online. But I have amazing local businesses that sponsor my weather page. You guys know this. And one of them is Mike Moran with Apex Tax Defense. Now, I don't want to speak for him because he's very good at what he does, but I believe Mike is one of less than 50 people in the entire country who is certified to negotiate with the IRS on your behalf. So if you're in trouble or you need help, Mike is your guy. Go to apextaxdefense.com to learn more information, submit your information there in the portal, and they get back to you within 24 hours. Mike's consummate professional, another great sponsor. I love having sponsors in the local farming and ag industry. Rec Agri Realty and Auction has been a great sponsor of mine for a long time. They deal with buyers and sellers of agricultural land and farmland here in Colorado, and I'm sure they do it in the surrounding region of Nebraska and Kansas as well. So if you're looking to buy or sell real estate in the farm and ag space, Rec Agri in Northeast Colorado, there's nobody better. So go ahead and contact them as well. You can go to recagri.com And then lastly, I've got some great people in the law firm space that sponsor me as well, specifically here in Weld County with Erie and Greeley. Pete Goldstone has been a great sponsor of my page for quite a while as well. So if you're in need of premier legal services, Pete Goldstone, that's who you need to go to here in Northern Colorado. Go to petegoldstone.com to learn more information from them. Okay, I needed to pay the bills. Thank you for bearing with me, guys. So let's get to the juicy deets. I told you guys that a storm was coming in. So many of you, we're at 1,100. Awesome. Lori, Aaron, Kathy in Idaho Springs, Colleen and Casterly, Rock. It looks like there's a lot of good drinks in the comments too. Coffee with Bailey's. Lori, that's a great choice. Oh, you guys are so classy. Look at you cultured peoples. All right. So I'm sharing my screen here, and this is a high resolution forecast model that goes out to about 84 hours. This is called the NAM. This is the North American model. I'm going to take it back to the beginning. This is the latest run that just came in probably within the last hour or so. And as I loop this forward into the day on Monday, what you're going to notice is under northwest flow, we're going to have a few snow showers, some snur showers bubble up in the mountains and along the I-80 corridor around Rawlins, west of Elk Mountain. These are what we call alpine snow showers. When you get the wind that presses up against the west facing slopes, that's called orographic lift. Alpine snow showers that develop with daytime heating. So if you're in the central and northern mountains on Monday, skiing at the resorts, plan for the possibility of winter driving conditions going over the passes, especially if you're coming back Monday night. And then it looks like we will get a brief reprieve from the showers during the day on Tuesday. And then this lead shortwave ahead of our main storm system is going to spread more snow, more snur across the I-80 corridor and the northern mountains, the Highway 40 corridor. So Steamboat, Winter Park, and this is going Tuesday night and into the day on Wednesday. And notice we're probably going to get a few rain showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm that spills off the foothills and into southeast Wyoming, the western Nebraska panhandle, and across northeast Colorado. This is going overnight Tuesday and in the day on Wednesday. Notice that snow is going to be pretty widespread in the mountains, especially along and west of the Continental Divide. Probably not going to be much in the foothills due to downsloping winds coming off the higher elevations, but that will change dramatically going into the day on Wednesday, and I'll tell you why. So this lead shortwave is going to come off the mountains. It's going to undergo cyclogenesis and strengthen here in central Kansas during the day on Wednesday, and then eventually lift to the northeast with the center of circulation getting around Lincoln and Omaha by Wednesday afternoon and into Wednesday night. And what you're going to notice is that rain showers mixed with snow at and above 6,000 feet starts to develop and become widespread Wednesday afternoon and into Wednesday night here along I-25, the northeast and southeast plains, southeast Wyoming, the western Nebraska panhandle, and of course, snow is going to be going here in the mountains, and this is by Wednesday night. Now, this is where things get Dennis Rodman complicated. This shortwave, as it strengthens, is going to be in front of our main storm system for Wednesday, Thursday, and into the day on Friday. And as I switch to the GFS, this is a chart which allows us to see different layers of the atmosphere in terms of wind speed and direction. This is the GFS. And let me back this up a little bit to the same time frame I just ended with the NAM, and this allows us to see storms on a much bigger scale. We call that synoptic scale. You guys can see this giant O. This is a large closed upper level low, a 500 millibar low centered, if the GFS were to be correct, somewhere near Salt Lake City overnight Wednesday and into the day on Thursday. And I told you guys in previous updates that this was going to stall somewhere to our west overnight Wednesday and into Thursday. And as I loop this into the day on Thursday, this just kind of sits and spins and meanders over the desert Southwest Wednesday, Thursday, and going into the day on Friday. Now, what I want to mention real quick, everybody pay close attention here. The forecast model data I'm getting ready to show you has a wide spread of possible precipitation amounts because the forecast models are having a really, really hard time trying to figure out how this lead shortwave Wednesday is going to interact with this main storm system for Wednesday through Friday. So I'll repeat that one more time. The forecast models are having a really hard time trying to figure out what this lead shortwave is going to do and how it's going to interact with this main storm system coming in behind it. Okay, so if these are out of phase with each other, our precipitation amounts are going to be lower. If this storm ends up tracking farther west away from Colorado, southeast Wyoming, Nebraska, and Kansas, then our precipitation amounts are going to go down. Okay, if this storm ends up tracking further east and becomes a four corners low, then we are talking about the potential for significant precipitation to fall across Colorado, Wyoming, Nebraska, and Kansas Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, with potentially lingering impacts going into the weekend. Okay, now this is the GFS. The GFS has the cutoff low basically meandering, occluding, and weakening by Sunday, but it stays well to our south, and maybe it tries to reform another low the beginning of next week. The microphysics bias kind of all over the place with this, but if we go to the Euro, which is the United States version of Europe's forecast model, if we loop this forward, Tuesday, Wednesday, precipitation becomes widespread by Wednesday night. Mainly rain at the lower elevations could mix with or change to wet snowfall here along the Raton Mesa in southern Colorado, as well as the Palmer Divide, and of course here in southeast Wyoming, eventually changing to snow below 6,000 feet. And this is going into the day on Thursday. Notice precipitation again pretty widespread, but the Euro is showing a possible mix or change back to rain here along the South Platte River, and of course the donut hole in Pueblo County. That's not a possibility, that's a certainty, and this is just one forecast model that we're looking at. Okay, but the Euro cuts off precipitation a lot faster. It keeps it in southern Colorado where it's desperately needed, in the San Juans and in the Sangre de Cristos, of course. But this is going into the day on Friday. The low still remains to our south, but residual rain and snow showers going through the weekend as the low eventually weakens and ejects to the northeast heading into the beginning of next week. Now, the fun part. What are we looking at as far as possible precipitation amounts? Now, I'm just warning you, this is not my official forecast. I'm just showing you what the forecast model data is showing right now. But the most important part of the forecast I want to show you is what the ensemble averages are telling us. And I'll explain what ensembles are here in just a second. First one I'm going to show you is the GFS. So this forecast model I'm showing you right here, this GFS, this is the controlled run. This is just one controlled run or iteration of the GFS forecast model. Okay, if we go to the GFS ensemble, this is an ensemble of about 30 different forecast models, 30. And this is much more reliable because this gives us a bigger sample size. So if we're wanting to make and streamline a weather forecast, make a good starting point for how much snow we could receive, start with the ensembles and work your way from there. Break, drink break. Cheers, guys. I was getting thirsty. My Malbec was calling my name. Thirsty. Okay, so the GFS, this is an ensemble average. If you took all 30 members of the GFS ensemble, added them up, and came up with a mean average, this is what you come up with, and it's significant. Okay, if the GFS ensemble data were to verify, we're looking at a 1 to 2 foot snowfall event in the mountains, foothills, I-25 corridor, and obviously precipitation amounts would go down as you go onto the eastern plains because you're far enough away from the periphery of the circulation where you're not under the influence of downsloping necessarily. So other synoptic factors would certainly bring you some precipitation, but the heaviest amounts would certainly be closest to the foothills in the immediate I-25 corridor, and of course southeast Wyoming, and lesser amounts obviously in the western Nebraska panhandle. Now, again, calm down, relax. This is just the GFS ensemble, but if this were to verify, we're looking at a significant storm impacting Colorado Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Now, let's switch gears and go to the Euro. As you can see, the Euro is much less. The Euro is about 50 members. So take all 50 members, add them up, come up with a mean average, and this is what you come up with. So obviously much less, but we're looking at potentially up to a foot of snowfall here along the Palmer Divide. Getting into the foothills, maybe a 12 to 18 inch type of storm for the foothills, the Continental Divide, and a 5 to 10 inch type storm in the central and northern mountains, with obviously higher amounts in the San Juan Mountains because you're closer to the periphery of the storm circulation, okay? And obviously appreciable amounts here along the Raton Mesa. So obviously amounts are much lower with the Euro ensemble compared to the GFS. And then just for fun, let's check out the Canadian. The Canadian ensemble is even lower than that. So we're looking at a 4 to 8 type storm here along the immediate front range, obviously much lower as you go into the eastern plains, even in southeast Wyoming, the Nebraska panhandle, not terribly impressive, with it looks like the bullseye of most of the precipitation falling in the foothills and of course on the Continental Divide. Pretty consistent with heavy snowfall for the San Juans because you're closer to the periphery of the circulation. So the main storm Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, okay? Those 3 days with potential impacts depending on how the storm behaves and how long it takes to get out of here, lingering into the weekend. So got it? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And as we get closer, I will update and elaborate more on timing. So please be patient, show me some grace. I have a lot of work ahead of me, so just check in regularly for updates. I'll keep you guys updated like I always do. So let's go back one more time. GFS ensemble is obviously the highest, and it's not even close. The Euro, lower, but appreciable amounts, and the Canadian, even lower than that, okay? Now, one more thing I'm going to show you, if we took all of that data, all of it, threw it into a blender, blended it up, put a little whipped cream on it, pause. Getting thirsty. Hadn't had a drink for several minutes. I sound like Paul Lynde. Any of you watch the old Hollywood Squares with Paul Lynde in the center square? He talks a lot like this. He's a little crazy. Okay. Sorry, Malbec's starting to kick in a little bit. We may have to wrap this up in a few minutes. All right, let's look at the blend of forecast models. Take everything I just showed you with the GFS, the Euro, and the Canadian, throw it all in a blender. What does that look like? Oh, Lord. This is what the blend looks like. So lesser amounts in the South Platte River, I'm assuming either due to downsloping or this is purely based on elevation, okay? But Denver Metro, up to a foot or more. Palmer Divide, up to 2 feet. Foothills, Continental Divide, maybe up to 3 feet. There's a 36, there's a 38, 41, 42. So like Winter Park and Berthoud Pass would be a bullseye. And then lesser amounts in the Donut Hole in Pueblo County, and then results or snowfall increases obviously for the San Juans, the Sangre de Cristos, the Wets. Might even get some snowfall in the San Luis Valley, and then getting down here onto the Raton Mesa. So this, Corey, this may be a 1 or 2 bottle of Malbec kind of storm. Yes, that is correct. So pretty redonkulous, some of these some of the outputs that these forecast model datas, that's not plural. Some of this forecast model data is pumping out. So here is here's my conclusion for you as we go through the weekend. Be patient. I will keep you guys updated like I always do. Okay. Chances are forecast model data is going to change as we get closer. I'm probably not going to have a pretty good idea of what we're going to be going up against until at least Monday night, if not Tuesday. Okay. So give me 2 days. Let me sort this bugger out, and I will push out information to you guys. Just check in regularly for updates. Of course, I'm here on the Bookface, Denver and Front Range Weather. I'm online, CodyTheWeatherGuy.com. I'm also on Twitter, X, and Instagram, also at Cody the Weather Guy. And I'm starting to build out my YouTube channel, kind of, which is linked here in the post as well. When I do all of these lives, of course, you'll be able to access them on YouTube as well. They are recorded. And of course, if you didn't catch the live version of this, I will post it in its entirety on the Facebook page at the end of this so that you can go back and watch from the beginning. For those of you that are just hopping on and maybe missed this, there is a fire ongoing in El Paso County. It is just to the east of, it looks like, Peterson Space Force Base. The crossroads are Mark Scheffel and Drennan Road. That's the last piece of information I have from the Colorado Springs Fire Department Public Information Officer. They are closing down Mark Scheffel Road, and it looks like the Colorado Springs Fire Department has ordered additional resources to fight this fire from their partners at Ellicott as well as Cheyenne Mountain. So I will keep you guys updated on that fire as we head throughout the late afternoon and evening. But it looks like this storm this upcoming week cannot get here fast enough because fire weather conditions still exist, unfortunately, along the Front Range in the Eastern Plains. So, quick summary. Enjoy the nice weather while it lasts. Enjoy your drinks. Showers start bubbling up in the mountains, snowfall, Monday night into the day on Tuesday. We may get a brief break during the day on Tuesday, and then snow picks back up Tuesday night and into Wednesday in the mountains with that leading short wave. It kicks out, and then the main storm system comes in right behind it with impacts that may linger Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then depending on how fast it takes to kick out of here, we could have some rain and snow going into the weekend. So this is the main bullet points with the discussion. Uncertainty regarding the track still remains high, okay? There's going to be several pieces of energy that factor into the forecast, and the models are struggling with it, which explains the widespread in snowfall accumulation potential in the ensemble data I just showed you. I would say there's reasonably high confidence in significant snowfall for the higher elevations of the foothills and the mountains, okay? Reasonably high confidence in precipitation, heavy precipitation for the Front Range, the Eastern Plains, Southeast Wyoming, Nebraska Panhandle, Western Kansas, but low confidence regarding how much falls as rain and how much falls as snow below 6,000 feet, okay? Also, be careful. You're going to get emotionally abused here. I don't really care. And then what factors will influence the outcome of the storm, okay? It depends on if those pieces of energy phase together or if they phase at all. Again, the track of the storm system, if it's too far west, precipitation amounts go down. If it's farther to the east and sets up around the four corners, then precipitation amounts are going to go up. And the timing and bulk of precipitation appears to be in the Wednesday to Friday timeframe, with lingering impacts possibly going into the weekend. Okay. This is going to be recorded in its entirety. I'm going to post it on the page after we're done. And there's also going to be captions for my hard of hearing friends who do need captions. Those will be available as soon as I'm done with this video. Thank you guys for your time, energy, and attention. If you're in El Paso County, don't be a dum-dum. There's a fire. Don't go towards it. Run away from it. I'll keep you posted. Have a great evening. I'll talk to you guys very, very soon. Okay, great. Thanks. Bye.